Good morning, Joe Live with your man Treetrunk, working life balance. So I'm gonna try to hit this up every Sunday morning about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Working life balance. Hope everybody got their Joe. Get your engines running. And got me a blunt. Uh, I gotta let you know what I'm smoking on. Lemon or something. I don't know. Some kind of lemon or something, but here, buddy, you get your 420 on and you get your Joe. We talk about this working life balance. But your man Treetrunk working life balance, I couldn't do it without my wife. My wife helped this balance and that stay level. You know, she helps us stay level on one side, and I keep it level on the other side. Everybody's situation different. You know, I got a daughter and a granddaughter now, and that's a part of the balancing act now. Having to balance finances and all kind of stuff like that. It's all a part of your work-life balance. And like I said, everybody's situation different because your man Treetrunk, I grind hard. Some weeks I'm doing 40-hour weeks, and some weeks I'm doing 60, 70, 80, 90, 100-hour weeks. Just so happened I'm doing what I was supposed to work yesterday, but I had a party for my granddaughter, but Treetrunk don't miss no time. And when you a person like that, that don't miss no time, you need a partner to help you balance these things. And my biggest hurdle for my work-life balance is finance. It's finances. Sometimes I have a whole bankroll of fucking hundreds in my billfold. Bankroll of them. Yeah, my wife has a bankroll on. No money in the bank sometimes. You know, then we gotta put money in the bank to pay bills. For myself, and this is just Treetrunk, I stack money in cash better. They got all these different cards you can save money on and do this and that, but they charge you to put your money on these cards. And who wants to pay to save their money? Just buy you a safe, stack up some cash if that works for you. It just happened to work for me. I like to see them blues. That's what the youngsters call them pinks and them blues and all that. I like to stack them blues. So, but let me know in the comments how you handle your work-life balance. And it's just not finance. When you're in a family, it's different when you're single. I'm speaking from a family guy's perspective of things. That's how I'm speaking of it. Get off work, cook dinner, get the night running like you're supposed to. Get the meals on the table. You know, make sure you get lunch for the next day. Make sure you get work clothes for the next day. That working life balance is a motherfucker. It's just how do you do it. And I've seen to do it sometimes, even with finances. I don't know how, but I'll run it to the last due date and then run and pay it. So I wish I didn't, but shit's like that sometimes. But the more you do it, your work-life balance, the easier it gets. So, man, Treetrunk be 47 this year. I'm 46 years old. I've been doing this continuous 24 hours for some years now. You know, and you got to use them 24. We all got the same 24. Every single person. We all got the same 24 hours. So you have to use them in a way that 24 hours to benefit yourself, not hurt yourself. And if you have a partner, you got to use them 24 hours to benefit yourself and your partner. And if you have a family, you have to benefit the family. You know, some days I want to be selfish, but it doesn't work. If you solid with somebody, you can't be selfish with them. Even though you may feel that you can't be selfish with them, it'll never work. When you in a relationship, a marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend, however you know your situation is. Sometimes even if it may hurt your partner's feelings, I'm not saying be disrespectful. We're all adults. You know how to talk without being disrespectful and get your point across and your feelings without hurting someone's feelings. And talk to them in a manner where they can understand where you're coming from, you know. And you have to be willing to take that in too because it go both ways. Your partner may tell you something that you ain't feeling, but on the back end, it's not good for them. So you have to work that out. You have to meet in the middle. The working life balance is a motherfucker. And working life balance is for everybody. It's not just married people, boyfriend and girlfriend, and single people too, because I have single friends. And their working life balance is fucked. I got a friend of mine, he works with me, not gonna say no names or nothing because that's just fucked up. This guy parties all night long. I mean party, real deal party. Not just some smoking some fucking weed or something. You go real deal party every night. Come to work hammered. But he does his job. He's a lazy motherfucker, but I guess he's okay. What he does doesn't affect my paycheck one bit, just speaking, you know. And he misses. We hired this guy a month ago with our company. He's all right, guy. Might have been a little long. May have been 6 weeks. He hasn't had a full paycheck yet. He hasn't had a full 40-hour check yet. And it's been a potential to do 50, 60 hours. And he hasn't even cracked 40. That's that work-life balance right there. That's that work-life balance. No matter what, I don't give a fuck. No matter what, you must take care of your responsibilities, or you will suffer in the end. You're only hurting yourself. So you must safeguard yourself in your work-life balance. You must safeguard yourself, and you must stick to your own word. You can't lie to yourself. You must stick to your own word. If you're hanging out with the homies, or if this is women listening, you hanging out with your girlfriends, and y'all get your drink on at happy hour. Sometimes people turn it up a little bit. Sometimes people want to give me another round and this and that. And then you look up, you ain't done shit you're supposed to do. You spend more money than you thought you was gonna spend, and you bought bar drinks, which is way more than going to the liquor store. Ain't saying go to the liquor store and get hammered. Just saying, you know. And your man Treetrunk get hammered. I get hammered right here in the treehouse, and this is all I got. And I do not miss. I will not lose. I will not lie to myself. I'm gonna get my black ass up. I'm gonna have my lunch. I'm gonna have my coffee. I'm gonna burn me one. I'm gonna figure out my commute, and I'm gonna make it. You know, my reputation is it's like the gold standard. If I don't show up to work, they're gonna call me. They're gonna call my wife. They want to know what's wrong. Did something happen? You know, that's the reputation that you want. You don't want the reputation where if you don't show up to work, we might not even notice it. And if that happens, if you show up to work and the guys really don't even notice you're not there, then you really not needed. You're really not needed. Goddamn shit that went out. But the working life balance, that's where it's at. And I can be a dickhead sometimes. I happen to be one of the guys at work that can push a few buttons. I can push a few buttons all the way to the top and get you knocked off. Gone. But I hate to be like that. Sometimes, you know. Sometimes you give people enough rope, they'll hang themselves, you know. Hear y'all story, you know. Give y'all a quick story. It's a guy I come up under in this construction world. Taught me a lot. He's a white guy, mind you. He's a white guy. And I respect him to the full. He's retired now. You know, he retired from the 1191 laborers, the union that I'm a part of. He's a white dude. But anyway, like all of us, he had a son. His son came up. And he was one of the guys I came up under. And just because of his name, and I didn't hire his son to the company, but I'm not the only one. This dude knew at the company. Somehow he pulled a few strings, got his son on. Cool. That's what parents do. But anyway, his son was a lippy little motherfucker. But we got to have tough skin in this construction industry. I understand that. You got to make your bones. And his son was a hard-working motherfucker. He was a concrete raking motherfucker. I know if he was inside one of my pores, he's going to hold his hand. And he may embarrass a few lazy motherfuckers. That's what kept him around. But in this concrete industry, in this construction industry, sometimes deadlines, you have to make them no matter what. And with concrete, we usually don't pour in the rain, but if it's critical to the point we got to make this deadline, then we got to pour in the rain. And that's just what it is, you know. So America is cold as a motherfucker out here in Michigan while we pouring. It's the beginning of the year, this year. I mean, it's so goddamn cold you can't take your gloves off for 1 second. Not even to scratch your fucking face or pick a booger out your nose. That's how cold it is. And on top of that, it's raining. It's wet snow, you know. But we gotta pour. And that's that. We pushed it off as long as we could push it off. I mean, we didn't kick the can down the road so far that if we don't make this pour, we may not have work for the next week. So everybody gotta eat. I gotta eat. Treetrunk ain't gonna miss no meal because of your shit. You know, before that happens, you'll catch a layoff check. Before I don't get a paycheck, you'll catch a layoff check. That's just how I am, clear cut. Boom. You don't like it? The road's right out there. And that's just the way I am. People call me an asshole. I don't give a fuck. That's just the nature of the beast. But anyway, this kid tells me, he say, big dog, if it starts raining, I'm leaving. Now I had a good attitude this morning, but when he said that to me, it was like a light switch, like an on-off switch. I stopped and looked at him and said, motherfucker, you can leave now. Bye. Get the fuck off my job. Don't need you here. Because you're not going to tell me when you know we've been kicking this can down the road to get this concrete pour done. And if we don't get it done, we may not have work for next week. So bye. He said, well, I'll help y'all set up the washout bags before I go. For what? 10-minute job. Get the fuck on, dude. Give a fuck. And it's cutthroat like that in the construction industry. You can tell a guy to get the fuck on, and that's that. Give a fuck who you call and give a fuck who you run with. Give a fuck who you got up in that office. But down on that ground on the job, it's me. And I don't give a fuck how much you go up to that office. Eventually, you got to come back to me. And once I send that word, you're fucking out. But anyway, he says, I'll help you set up the washout bags. Bye. Leave. Strike one. He's out. But, like I said earlier, I respected his dad. I come up under his dad. His dad was a beast. These cold Michigan winters, he'd be out here in a sweatshirt, t-shirt, hardcore motherfucker. Top brass. That's who his dad is. So bye. Yeah, you can come back tomorrow, motherfucker. So he comes back, we working, he's doing good. We pouring concrete. He's making the everyday little pours we got. But we usually make big pours on the weekend. Back to the weekend again. Uh, big dog, I ain't gonna be able to come tomorrow. For real? You know this is a high priority job. You must come. It ain't no Mr. Poor motherfucker. You must be here. This work-life balance. Let me go back to that. Well, I got something to do. Fuck it. He didn't come. We end up pulling some strings, getting a couple more guys in there. You know, we got it done because the job don't stop just because one motherfucker say they don't want to come. Go through the week. Young dog show up. You know, he show up for the 8 hours every day. And I think we was doing tens, but he show up for all that. Back to the big port for the weekend. Back at the weekend again. Man, we working 6, 7 days. We grind 10 hours, 8 hours, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to complete the task for the day, we do it. That's how your man Treetrunk do it. We back at the weekend. Big dog. I ain't gonna be able to work this weekend. I'm like, dude, every swinging dick around here has been here every fucking weekend. No, I don't want to be here. I'd rather be with my family. I'd rather be kicked up with a motherfucking joint in my mouth, sipping some coffee, watching the news, doing a live with y'all, America. I'd rather be doing that. But no, priority is first. I got to build America. I got to get this concrete in the ground. I got to feed my family. Got to pay these bills. Got to keep moving forward because tomorrow will be here. And who knows what tomorrow brings. Bill will be knocking on the door. Who is it? It's Bill. You owe me. So I got to get to work. So this motherfucker pull this shit again. So I'm just furious, you know. I'm not even thinking about the shit I'm supposed to be thinking about at work. I'm doing my job, but this shit is on my mind. And Now that I remember, I had some shit going on myself that I really needed to be at home, as far as insurance companies and fixing things on my property on the outside. They wanted to cut my insurance, but I'm working 10, 12 hours a day. And then I gotta come home and then try to fix this shit. And then somebody tell me they ain't coming. And then I say, why the fuck you ain't coming then? You done missed uh, every big pour. Last three pours you done missed every weekend. And it was, everybody knew when you was coming to this job, just heavy hitters. I want to bring him in the fold. I want him to be one of the heavy hitters like us. We chased them hours. We chased them jobs. But he said, my girlfriend is cutting my hair. She has a cosmetology class, and I understand life happens. But cutting your fucking hair, you got to be kidding me. You mean it ain't a cousin or anybody that can sit in that spot for your girlfriend so she can do her class, and you come out and make this Saturday money, which is really time and a half. You getting whatever your rate is plus half that. You on overtime too, and you rather go get a fucking haircut, dude? Bye. You're done. And I fired this motherfucking ass. And I felt bad about it because I come up under his dad. But you're not gonna keep making me look like a jackass every week. And on this job, I could say I'm the vice president. I ain't the president. If we're gonna look at it on them aspects, I'm the vice president. I can really make some things happen, but a lot of times I gotta go through the president for approval. But he's one of them guys. He really don't like cutting people. So he's more of a he's a don't say much. He's a nicer guy, and you need them kind of guys. You need them kind of guys. I'm more of a I don't give a fuck. You gonna open this road? You gonna let us through? We gonna shut this bitch down, or I'm calling the big dogs. I'm one of them type of guys. If you in my way and I'm permitted to be here, you're gonna move. We're gonna set up. We're gonna set up right around. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. Well, the guy's more diplomatic. He's gonna work out a solution. So this young guy go to the big dog. Am I really? Is this really happening? Am I laid off? Am I done? Am I fired? And my attitude is this: keep this motherfucker. I'm done. I can call my big dogs, and they can send me to another job, and you can have this fucking job with this jackass. I'll go to another job, and that was just my attitude. Or you can leave with him, and I'll do it by myself. I've had jobs where I was the head guy, so it's nothing. It just happened to be this job. I'm not, you know. But my man look at me and he tell my man, he say, man say you gone, you gone. Then he go to the guy over my boss. And he's just like, really, yeah, I'm the head guy, but that's really not my thing. I let them handle that. So if they say you gone, you know, you done. What the fuck you want me to do? I get my own shit going on back. You know, call you get the call. They say you gone. So get rid of this dude. And I feel bad because I know it hurt his feelings. It hurt my feelings. But I'm back to this work-life balance. I'm about to go right back to it. I think it taught him. I ain't seen him since. And I'm a union worker. We work these jobs, these construction jobs all over Michigan, all over the country. I will bump into him again. I will. It's just a gift. Every guy I've worked with, we bump back into each other on different jobs. So I will bump back into him. He did land a job. Young dog did land a job, but I think it taught him sometimes that work-life balance. You got to you got to take care of it. You got to do it right, you know, and you got to understand that you're not the only person. When you make a decision, it affects others, you know, and him wanting to miss work every weekend when he know it's a high priority job. We got to be in and out of here in maybe like 12 weeks, you know. He knew that, but he ended up landing another job from a guy that worked for us, and this guy, both of these guys worked for me on the previous job, but this other guy, on the other hand, I knew he knew what was going on. He had the potential to, you know, be the man anywhere he wanted to go, and he did. He left us, and now he's the, you know, he got a higher position than myself somewhere else. So he ended up moving on, but he ended up calling this young guy. But what I respected about him is he would just straight up tell me, Hoss, I'm not fucking doing it. I don't give a fuck if you don't like it. I got my own shit going on. So if you're gonna get rid of me now. Don't get rid of me, you know, next week because I'm gonna do my job. That's all I'm fucking doing is 40, and if you don't like it, I'm gonna go down the road. And I respected that about him because he was straight up with me. He was straight up. And then the job that me and him met up on, it wasn't my job. I just happened to get sent there from another job. But I'm big doggish, you know, big tree trunk. When I got there, I knew instantly. I said, I'm going to take this job over. I'm going to take this. I'm going to lock it down. I need to be here for, you know, the next year because it's another job starting up. So I knew I needed at least that much time, and I went there, worked my way around, end up taking over. Well, I didn't take over the guy I work up under now. I end up getting there because it was his job and pushed everybody out and pushed me to the, you know, to the vice president spot. Because either them the spots I got to have. If I'm the big dog or I'm the second, them the spots I got to have. That's, you know, that's my standard. I've been doing this construction since April 1999. You know, I've poured more cement in the ground than the average man that walked on in his life. You know, I'm not talking driveways and sidewalks and just that. You know, I'm talking about mega projects. You know, 24-hour, 48-hour concrete pours, continuous trucks. You know, the last big concrete pour we done last week in Ann Arbor, Michigan, 90 concrete trucks. We navigated them through Ann Arbor. Two pump trucks running. You know, two pump guys, vibrator guys. A big concrete pour 2 foot thick. You know, so when we lay it down, we lay it down. If we're gonna bring a building out the ground, it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow like a tree. You know. And the crew I work with be the top of our stack. The top of our stack. You can't name a job downtown Detroit, metro area Detroit. That the company I work with, and I ain't gonna say their name, you know, because we all union workers. I represent the union. They left 91 laborers. It's not a company thing, it's a union thing. But you can't name a project that we ain't had our hands on. We're gonna get in, you know. We're gonna make 100 plus a year. We're gonna work hella hours. We're gonna work hella hours. You know, hard work come with it. You know, you just ain't gonna go in there and think you're gonna just make 100 plus. You know, because you know how business is. We build a project and we have over 100 guys or something, and we get to the point where we don't need 100 guys. We may need 30 guys. Then the rest of them guys got to go, and we're gonna pick through them like he's a good guy. He been here. He ain't been missing no days. This and that, and blah blah blah. And see who stick around. Oh, he got an RA attitude. Blah blah blah. And it's crazy. Life is so crazy, especially now. You know, people used to get jobs and work them jobs 30, 40 years and retire and knew they were secure. Now people get laid off more than ever, you know. And you have to know how to do that work-life balance. Back to the work-life balance, you got to know how to do that. And I remember being on that side of the door where somebody else's job was in, well, my job was in somebody else's hands. And it may be some fucking drunk fucking foreman or some shit that fucking can't get off alcohol. And he's in charge of 40 guys. They fake whether they gonna have a check next week or not. And I remember being on that side of the fence where my job was in the faith of someone else. But it's a blessing that now I'm on the other side of that fence, you know, where I make the decisions about who may stay and who may go. And I'm not being cocky just to say, okay, I can take your job from you. I was brought up to, if you earn it, you can keep it. But if you're not going to help yourself, then don't look for me to do you no favors. So if you earn your spot and you do what you're supposed to do, it's not going to take me to keep your job. You kept it for yourself. But if you lacking and you're fucking up the schedule and you fucking up the flow for everybody else, I am going to say something. That's my responsibility of being a job foreman, where I got to look at that for the interest of the company that I work for. So if you're not cutting it and I see that and we losing production over you, it's somebody else that will appreciate that spot. That's going to show up every day, you know, not be lippy, you know. And there's nothing wrong with being lippy, you know. If you're a grown man and you out there, you got to learn how to hold your own anyway, you know. So just do your job, you know, and learn. But this has been a nice morning Joe Live, you know. I think I'm gonna twist me another one up, America. Twist me another one up. But the work-life balance, you know, is something else. It's something else. And we all have to navigate it. It's not like uh, millionaires are immune to work-life balance. You know, that's something we all have to go through. You know, millionaires, poor people, you know, middle class, you know, whoever you are, you have to go through this work-life balance. You know, drug dealers, you know, no matter what your profession is. You know, you think a drug dealer want to walk around all day and people know he a drug dealer? No, he don't want that. So he had to put a balance in there. He has to make himself look like that's not what he is. You know, he had to make himself look like he's a upstanding person, you know, not a drug dealer. So the work-life balance is for everybody. professional people, criminals, you know, the extremely poor people, homeless people. Everybody got a balance, and it might not. People that's on assistance, they may not have a work-life balance, but they got a balance that they have to do in their life first, their finances, you know, whatever their situation is. Some people get government assistance or Social Security or whatever, and they have to learn how to balance that to make it through each month. You know, they have to learn that, or you're gonna end up hurting. I can't keep up with a lighter to save my fucking life. You have to learn that to for your work life balance. Somebody give me a comment. Let me know about your work life balance. What type of situations y'all go through? What city y'all in? Is it traffic that you got to navigate? Do you got to leave? Can you see your job from your house, and you have to go all the way around the long way to get to your job? I've had to do shit like that. You can see your job, but you got to go around a long way from the back because there's so much goddamn construction and so much traffic that it may take you 10 times longer. If you rode a bike or walked, you'll probably get there faster. You know, and with this construction industry, it's so different because usually I work a project till it's from the start to the finish, but a lot of guys, like our cement finisher division, I'll work on a job and I work in all areas as far as working with carpenters, and then I'll pour concrete, and I work in all different areas. But we have guys that don't work in all different areas. They work in one area. They specialize in one thing, and they may have to. And I've been this guy before. You don't know where you going till that night before you go to bed, or you may get a text or a call that morning. And what kind of shit is that? You know you're going to work, but you don't know where you're going. So I had to keep an extra $100 bill in my wallet at all times, no matter what, because I didn't know if I had to put $50 in my car for gas in the morning, or I could put 20 in there. I didn't know where I was going. My drive could be an hour and a half one way, or it could be 20 minutes one way. And that's a goddamn stressful way to go to work. That work-life balance. And that brings me back to my wife. She's always been there. I tell her, God damn, baby, I gotta drive 2 hours one way in the morning. You know, and then it may be some idiot shit. It may be a guy that's over there that could do the job, and they send him where I'm at and sending me where he at, and we passing each other on the freeway. What kind of sense is that? And we didn't already talk to each other. Hey man, I heard you coming to Detroit to work, and he said, well, I heard you coming to Jackson. Yeah, well, I'm gonna call this guy, see if you can stay there. They say, no, I want you here, I want him here. But that's just people flexing their power. They know. They flex their power and say, well, I don't give a fuck. Make them pass each other on the freeway. You know. But I don't give a fuck. I'm getting up to go make my money. But that's that work-life balance and discipline. You know. I would have rather went and took that $100 that I kept in my wallet all the time for gas, and went out and spent it up with my wife on Coney Island, or went to the dispensary, and you know bought me some pre-rolls or whatever the fuck with that $100. I would have rather done that, but discipline. Say, no, if I don't keep this, if I don't keep this, then wake up and they send me fucking 50 miles the other goddamn way. If I ain't got you know, the money to get there, then I look like a jackass. Now they laughing at me. Oh, we make big money. How the hell he can't make it to the job? You know. So I've always safeguarded myself in that way. Always. And you have to do that in life. You have to safeguard yourself no matter how uncomfortable it might make you feel at that moment, but it may benefit you down the end. And me and my wife, we live by that. You know, if we see something and it costs $12,000 and we got $12,000 in the bank and we really need this. I mean, it's something we really need. But I would like to keep that 12 racks in the bank. We done seen had decisions like that to make and spent every nickel. Because when is the next time we gonna have that kind of money to buy something we need for our family that may cost, 5, 10 grand. So it's that discipline. And I always keep something like that in motion. You always have to challenge yourself for stuff like that. Always. You always have to have a goal that keeps you motivated, that keeps your mind clicking. What y'all smoking on? Y'all know this the Morning Joe Live. Smoking one with American. Got you, Joe. This is legal Michigan weed from the Michigan dispensaries. What's this shit? Let me show y'all. Oh no, this ain't even it, but you know, legal weed from the dispensaries. And I think it's from the all legal. What it say? Grown, whatever the fuck. But anyway, it's that work-life balance. And the older you get, the easier it is to navigate. But the earlier you start, the easier it'll be for you. Don't lay back and be some lazy fuck sitting on the couch expecting your parents to do this and that for you. And then you end up being some 30-year-old motherfucker that done wasted all their 20s and didn't establish something concrete. You know, you must establish a foundation. If you don't establish something concrete, you're not gonna be comfortable. You're not gonna be comfortable in this life. It ain't saying you got to have some 5,000 square foot palace or some shit. You ain't got to have that. You know, you can have you 1,000 square foot, something that's for you. As long as you're comfortable, as long as you're comfortable and that balance is what you want it to be, and it's concrete, it could be 1,000 square foot bungalow. You know, but if it's concrete and you sitting on a solid foundation, it's gonna hold. You know, and I see guys right now, and I never wanted to be one of these guys. They because I've been working in this, like I said, I've been working in this construction industry since April 1999, and I wanted to hang with the guys, going to the bar and shit after work. That was cool. I started this shit, 20 years old, 1920. Prove I can drink, hang with the big dogs, and still come to work. I wanted to prove that. I thought that shit was cool. I'm hanging with the big dogs. We getting off work. We going to the bar. We drinking. We talking to women. We having fun. We showing back up. We making this money. But as you get older, you see things. And true enough, Treetrunk didn't. I've done all right in my life. I've done all right. I can't complain. But it was other young guys out there too. And I sit back and now that I've made it to as far as I've made it, I got 12 more years and I can retire. But I sit back and look at some of the moves some of these other guys that made. Some of these guys have turned into, you know, way more than, what I thought they could be, you know. And if I would have been on my game more, I could have pushed some of them buttons and been that too. I've seen some of these guys make it to project managers and superintendents, running jobs and stuff. I've ran my jobs, but I've just always been a labor boss, you know. However many guys I get, we run the job or whatever. And nothing's getting done without a labor. And I'm explaining to you right now what a labor is. You know, our job is as laborers is to maintain everything on the job. We go into the offices. We clean all the offices for the superintendents. It can be a woman out of our labor hall. We'll hire a woman. You take care of the offices and you make sure all the coolers are full so guys can have water and stay hydrated, hydration stations and stuff like that. And then we got our labor division that just clean. I don't give a fuck. You just clean. You start at the front, get to the back, you clean it. When you get to the back, go back to the front. I don't give a fuck if it still look clean, sweep it again. You got them kind of labors. You got concrete labors, like myself. You know, they can pour concrete walls, they can pour footings, they can pour slabs. They can work with the concrete truck. They can bring, the crane in and out with concrete buckets and shit like that. I know how to talk to the crane. I know how to talk to equipment. So I'm on another level as a labor. You got pipeline labors. You got all kind of labors. You know, versus a plumber. A plumber, all he gonna do is fuck with some pipes. That's it. Whether it's gas going through them, water, whatever, that's all he gonna do. An iron worker, that's all he gonna fuck with is steel. And when that part of the job is over, them guys got to leave. As a labor, that's not the case for us. We can run a job from the beginning to the end. And what I mean by that is I can pour concrete columns, I can do all this impressive stuff. Some people might not even know what I'm talking about. I can do all this and navigate all this stuff with all these different crafts, plumbers, iron workers, navigate trucking and all this and that. And when all that's done, and all them guys get laid off, the laborers are standing there. And they say, well, what we gonna do with these guys? Well, we clean up. We can go over there and clean up. Them other crabs can't do that. That's what makes us valuable, and that's what keeps us on the job. On the job. And laborers, union laborers here in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm way over scale. I make way more than what the union pay laborers coming out of the union hall. But I think their scale is like $30 an hour. But I got a track record and I got history. So my scale is way more than 30. I'm not going to say what I make, but it's more than 30 and it's extremely more than that. You know, I can crack over 100 in a year if I'm focused and I do what I'm supposed to do and the work is there. You know, I can do that, but you have to make yourself valuable. You know, you have to make yourself valuable. You have to make, you have to navigate the playing field and make yourself valuable where it's certain things that the big companies feel they can't do without you. And I had an old guy tell me that, an old retired carpenter worked in the steel mills with him. I knew he drank every day like a motherfucker, but this fucking guy could build anything. I don't give a fuck what it was. He could build it, and we built it fast. One day, these preppy college fucks, we out there in the steel mill. They come out to inspect. We had a floating scaffold that hung from chains, big shackle chains, chain falls that we rolled this scaffold inside of the stoves on Zug Island that make the steel. We, it was a platform like this, and men walked on top of it, and it floated. We'll ride it up and down the inside of this silo, knock brick out, clean everything up, and then bring brick back up. You know, rebuild them. It was called a stove rebuild. But this scaffold we built, nobody wanted to work with the carpenters, none of the laborers, but me. You know, but me. I was good with them. I like building. So I get over here with this guy and this fucking preppy engineer. Oh, how do you know this thing's gonna hold? And how you know it ain't gonna fucking break? And you kill all these guys and blah blah blah. And I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers come over here. And this was supposed to be critical if he couldn't answer the questions that they wanted. You know, we may have to start from scratch or they shut the project down. So, and I knew this dude was an extreme fucking drinker and shit. Every day, him and his crew, they went to the bar. They got drunk. I mean, you could smell it on them the next day. Just extremely drunk. So I'm like, oh man, what the fuck is this drunk fucking old guy gonna tell these prairie engineers? That's what I'm thinking. I didn't know him that well, though. That's just where I end up. He get to tell me, he get to running a line of bullshit on this guy, and I didn't know that he done that till after I asked him when he was done. He was saying each OSHA plank can hold 100 pounds by every foot or some old shit. He got to running some numbers on this guy, and I'm like, damn. I don't think Bill was that smart. He got to walking around, pulling his measuring tape out, like, you know, this part of the scaffold can support this much weight. We can do this, we can do that, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this motherfucker way smarter than I thought. That's why you can't judge a book by its cover. I say, God damn. So when we done and shit, I'm like, God damn, I got to say something to him. Say, hey man, the fuck? I'm like, that shit was impressive. The fuck? He say, oh, Hoss. And that's what they call me at work. I'm Treetrunk. They call me Hoss. He say, man, I ran a line of bullshit on that fucking guy. I say, well, I say them fucking college guys, man. Them guys, you know, you see how clean they come in here with their white hard hands will be dirty, looking like, you know, grease monkeys that come out the fucking what's that shit? The coal mines and shit. That's how we look, like we was coming out the coal mine. And these guys so goddamn clean, preppy college guys. He say, man, them fucking guys don't know what we go through out here. He's like, I seen it in their face when they was coming up. He said, I've been building these motherfuckers for 30 years. He said, I ran a line of bullshit. He was like, I can't even add up them fucking numbers. I told them guys. But I talked so fast and I pulled my tape measure out, they couldn't keep up. And I got the yelling numbers, they couldn't keep up. I say, well, how the fuck you know this bitch gonna hold? We putting thousands of pounds on here. Thousands of pounds. And sometimes something may fall on there, and this thing is like, it may. He said, we're gonna overbuild the shit out of it, huh? He said, that's what we're gonna do. He said, we're gonna overbuild the shit out of it. He said, they gave me unlimited resources to build this. He's like, I can call any lumber yard in the country and they gonna send what I want. He said, so we're gonna overbuild it. And we overbuilt it. Everything passed. Sent them preppy college motherfuckers right out of town. Right out of town. And I'll say, okay, you gotta play the game. He said, you gotta learn how to play the game. And at that second, I knew it's just a game, like anything else. So you gotta learn how to play the game, but it's work-life balance. You gotta learn how to play the game, you know. And I knew this guy was extreme drunk. I knew he was. But I trusted anything he built. Anything. I would step out there on it. And mind you, we may be 200-300 feet in the air, you know, hanging off our ass. Just on a fucking chain fall or something. That's a chain fall or a retractable or something. Hanging off a beam if this fucking deck fall. You know. Another guy could build it that I knew wasn't drunk. And I could see how he was doing it. And if I didn't like it, I wouldn't step out there. But this guy that ran that line of bullshit, he could have an extreme drinking night. He can have an extreme drinking night and come in and build his shit, and I would trust anybody that go out there and walk on it. And those are the 687 Carpenters, Detroit, Michigan. They're some tough motherfuckers. You know, I work with them hand in hand all the time. And some of the guys are some fucking jackasses, but I've met some extremely smart motherfucking carpenters on the job. And this is just me talking. The carpenter is usually the smartest motherfucker on the job. The carpenter is usually the smartest one. A good carpenter, you cannot bullshit him on no numbers. There's no way. Because if you build something that ain't right, if it ain't by the specs, if it ain't by the print, you can kill somebody. So a good carpenter, you can spot them. You can spot them as youngsters. Because there's some young guys I work with now. Some young dudes I work with now, call them the money team. The money team. And it makes me mad. And I love all these guys. I love them to death, but it makes me mad. Every black guy that I put up against these white boys, they can't outrun them. These white guys are some building motherfuckers. And I would trust this crew we got. I think they are the best. I think the oldest one may be 27. And one of the youngest ones is the leader. Building motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Where the Joe Louis Arena site was that we built a tower right there. We're about to go build another one. and we built Huntington Tower. And I mean, we brought these buildings out the ground and we did not stop. We did not stop. And the Huntington Tower was during the COVID time. During COVID, you know. That's why I say that COVID some bullshit. We caught colds and stuff like that, but we brought that Huntington Tower up, and I think I might have got sick, but it was just a cold. It wasn't nobody, and we wasn't out there wearing masks every fucking day. It was like any other day. We treated it like we always did. We got to work. We done the fucking job. It wasn't nobody walking around with no masks and shit. You know, but that COVID was some bullshit. And and to be honest, I got the fucking shot, and that shit fucked me up. I will never do that shit again. That was the most foolish decision I ever made, was going to get that shot. You know, I got the first one. That shit made me sick as fuck. Right after I got the shot, it was like any other fucking day. I made the appointment, and blah blah blah. Got off work. I went and got the fucking shot. Got home, burnt me one like I usually do. Went to bed. But when I woke up that next morning, I was so fucked up. And I'm not the type to miss work. I got up and got dressed to get out the door. But I was so shaky and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck going on? I called and told them I can't make it. They like, what's wrong? I'm like, this shot fucked me up, y'all. And I did not go back for the next one. So I think the COVID was some bullshit. You know, I don't know what kind of bullshit, but it was. That shot fucked me up. I just got the one. I didn't go back for the second one. Never got another. You know, damn, my shit done went out. But this is the Morning Joe live. Sunday morning. I'm gonna give it to y'all every morning. I ain't gonna do the traditional Morning Joe. I'm gonna do it live. But let's see, we've been over here for an hour. I'm out American. I'm about to get on with my day. I want to cut my grass. I want to get outside. That's the first thing I do, is get up, step out on the porch, get some fresh air. So I smell that fresh air. So I'm gonna sit down, drink me a coffee because it is Sunday. Smoke me one, and then get into the day. So peace and love, everybody. Thanks everybody for tuning in to the Morning Joe. Like and subscribe to my channel. Share my videos. You know, I will be monetized soon. This is going to be my passive income when I retire. So I'm building a platform where we can talk about different experiences and work-life balance like we just did. And next Sunday morning, I'm gonna have another topic. We're gonna talk about it. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm out. Treetrunk the old head.